So 314, the law that was overwhelmingly passed by Arizonans in November that allows state and local law enforcement to enforce federal immigration law. In other words, if somebody crosses the border illegally at any other point other than a port of entry, state and local law enforcement can make an arrest and make that a state crime. Um, you are the sheriff of a large border county here in Arizona. Where are you on this measure?
Well, we're the sheriff of the largest border, largest shared border with Mexico of any county in the country. It's real simple for me, Eric. One, I think there's a lot of concern, and probably rightfully so, just because of the rhetoric that's out there, and nobody knows what's going to happen. But I would say this to you. My position has always been pretty clear on the border. That is not a state or local responsibility. I believe it is the federal government's responsibility. And 314 is actually waiting on a court hearing from Texas to decide whether or not that is a state or federal responsibility. I think it's ironic because the current administration is suing the state or actually taking the state to court on this matter, saying you have no responsibilities here. It should be the federal government's, which I agree with. Now, with the new administration coming in, will that change that position? I'm guessing it will. So we'll see what happens. But I understand the concerns of the community. I know that there's issues on all sides of this, but I'll just make it real simple. When we have a chief of police, he has a certain role and duty to serve the city. When you have a state highway patrol, they have a certain role to take care of the state highways. When you have border patrol, they have a certain role to handle those issues on the border. All of these entities collect tax dollars from you, the taxpayer. And the taxpayer has a certain expectation of you to do those jobs and those duties that you're assigned. I am no different. I am a county sheriff with certain expectations and duties and responsibilities to the county of Pima. And that has always been the case. I do my job. I do my staff and team signed up to be deputy sheriffs, not border patrol agents, not highway patrolmen, not city cops, sheriff deputies, because they have an understanding of what that job entails. Border Patrol, great men and women, great leadership. They too have a job and a responsibility, duty, and they signed up to be Border Patrol agents. We have always assisted each other. We will continue to assist each other. But that's what it is. It's assisting you. It's not doing your job for you. The law, the Prop 314 says, if we see someone crossing the border unlawfully, we have the authority to stop them, arrest them, and detain them. That power still exists today. If somebody sees someone crossing the border unlawfully, my team, if they saw that, would stop that individual and they would detain them and call Border Patrol and turn them over to Border Patrol and go on their business. But that isn't our role. And it should never be our role to just do Border Patrol's job for them. The federal government has more resources, more dollars, more staff, $50 billion HSI has, over 50,000 employees. I think they can manage this. They just, when I look at what happened in 314 and the voters overwhelmingly said, we need something done here. I don't think they were anticipating or had any idea what it meant to a local county sheriff's department that's already stretched for budget needs, has his own staffing issues. I don't think that was a part of it. I think for them, they were simply making a statement. We need something done at that border. We need to keep our border secure. And out of frustration, they passed this proposition. But now it's going to be a challenge in courts. We'll let the courts decide. But right now, my position is real clear. It's always been. Border Patrol has a job to do. It's a very important job. Do it. If you need our assistance, we'll assist you. I have a job to do, and it's an important job, and it doesn't include enforcing border or immigration laws.
If 314 were to get resolved, the Texas case, and it were to become law here in Arizona, as the sheriff of Pima County, the largest county that shares a border with Mexico and Arizona and across the Southwest, do you have the resources to take this on?
Absolutely not. I barely, we're entering our budget time right now for next fiscal year. We're scratching under the cushions for pennies. And I mean, it's just tough. And it's not just the sheriff. It's throughout the county, throughout the city. We all have our own budget issues and resources that we place our resources in positions. When I first came here, we did a very extensive study on where's crime happening? Where are the calls for services? Where is the growth in Pima County? And we moved substations, we built substations, and we moved staff to meet those demands that are required by us through researching data, not politically what was correct politically. That's just not what we do. And I can't help but think that this whole thing is just my entire life on this border that's Congress needs to do something about this border, and not just deflect it to your local and state governments. I think when this thing first came about, maybe it was last April, March timeframe, I was talking to the media about my responsibilities with this, and I said, this is just another unfunded mandate, because when 314 was first suggested, there was no funding backing it. But our state legislature said, oh, no, tell Sheriff Nanos that this is not an unfunded mandate, because there's no mandate. There's nothing that says Sheriff Nanos has to do this. It's only if he wants to do it. But yet now I hear and read from others that the state is already taking funding from Sheriff Hathaway in Santa Cruz County for not complying with what they see as some issues with 314. Well, if it's not a unfunded mandate, is you're taking monies away? Isn't that for not doing something? Is that extortion? I really hope it doesn't get to that. We've seen enough state cost shifts in Pima County through the last decade, and it hurts the county. It hurts those of us who have a responsibility, a job to do. If you're taking funding away from me because I'm not doing your bidding, that's not what the public would expect of any of us in this position.
Sheriff, what do you tell voters who overwhelmingly made the decision at the ballot box in November to pass 314?
I tell them that I think I agree with them that there needs to be something done about our immigration practices and the policies that we have in place, but that shouldn't be at the county level. And what they voted for wasn't to force a sheriff or a county government to do these things. It was to give them the opportunity, if they wanted to go about their business and do it. You know, we have Sheriff Nanos here in Cochise County. His issues are different than my issues. But then again, if you look at what my county represents is a metropolitan area of over 1 million people, I don't know that Cochise County has 100,000 people in it. Every county sheriff faces different challenges. I'm not going to begrudge or get into political philosophies with different county sheriffs. I'm telling you, here in Pima County, I have a job to do, and that is to provide public safety to a very large county with a very large populace that has several different areas of concerns: traffic, crime, safety, general public safety to this community. Border security isn't one of those priorities, not for this sheriff, and it won't be as long as we have a border patrol out there who has the resources to deal with this. Like I say, I play very well and work very closely with all of our federal partners. I need them, they need us, and we assist each other, but nobody wants to do each other's job. It's just that simple.
Lastly, Prop 314 is in limbo right now. It has not gone into effect. It is waiting on a court case out of Texas to get resolved. It could take a very long time, could take years to
Yeah.
potentially tie that up in the courts. Um, with that limbo, with that holding, how do you see that holding pattern right now?
Well, I don't know. I'm going to start right there. I don't know where this is all going to go. I hope that just like SB 1070 had some great controversial issues behind it, it was challenged in court, and a great majority of it was just thrown out. I think that's exactly what we're going to see with Prop 314. This, no matter what happens with either way, whichever way it goes with the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeal in Texas, whatever that decision is, there will be additional court challenges. And to be honest with you, I hope those challenges continue on for another 4 years, and then we'll see where we're at. But I just, right now, I can't worry about the unknown. We prepare for it. We try our best to plan for it, but we have so much in front of us to deal with: our traffic considerations, our public safety issues, crime in general. I don't. I put that to the side, and we'll see what the courts do. Right now, I've been told this is not a mandate of any kind if 314 does in fact pass. So we'll play it that way too. If it's not a mandate, then it's up to each sheriff to decide for themselves what they want to do. This sheriff's ideas are not to enforce any kind of border issues. I have enough on my plate.
Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos, thank you for your time. Thank you for your candor, sir.
Thanks, Eric.
It's good to be with you.